Tonight we are studying Revelation chapter 21. Okay. So let's open up with prayer. Heavenly Father, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. We come before your presence in the name of Jesus. Just thanking you for your grace. We thank you for your mercy. We thank you for physical protection. We thank you that you were not spiritually corrupted for anything that was done today. We thank you for your Holy Spirit. Right now, Heavenly Father, will come and teach thy truth unto us. Because the interest of thy word bringing light and understanding. So give us the understanding of your word tonight. We'll give your name praise and honor in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. The very first question is a review. Last week we talked about 7 new things that will be in our eternal state. Okay. And remember in chapter 21 we got introduced to a new heaven, new earth. Then next we're going to see the new Jerusalem, which is the bride of Christ and the holy city. So let's go down the list. It's a review. We read it last week, but I didn't have any paperwork for you last week. So what are some new things that will be in the new eternal state? Okay. One is what? A new, it's in our very first verse.
Where you at?
A new heaven.
Oh,
A new, all right.
okay.
So number 1 would be a new heaven. A new heaven. Now who can tell me what we meant by new heaven? We had talked about first heaven, second heaven, third heaven. You remember remember we talking about heaven?
New universe.
What did that heaven means?
New
New planet.
domain, new universe.
New universe,
Everything
new
will
planet.
be perfect. It'll be changed and be perfect.
Okay.
You say new, and it won't be the old like we know now, but it's going to be uncorruptible,
Right,
incorruptible. Won't be
Okay.
no storms and stuff like that.
right. We talked about the spheres.
Ain't gonna be no air. Gonna be no air there.
I don't know about the air. Because we will have a glorified body.
Right.
And I don't know what that glorified body will entail. Might not be in that exam. Might be just
Okay, it ain't
Yeah.
gonna be no dirt.
no dirt. The streets are paved with gold, that's what it says. Alright? But according to the scriptures, right? New heaven and new earth. Remember I said, we're looking at new heaven. Heaven is divided in 3 parts. Right. First heaven, second heaven, third heaven. And what did I tell you about third heaven?
That's with God.
That's where God is.
And it does not need to be new.
Not to be new.
So therefore, when we talk about that the heaven coming down, third
Third
heaven
heaven is
comes
coming
down.
down.
Right. And replace second heaven, which is
The
planets,
stars.
stars, outer space and all that. And then this heaven we live is the first heaven. That's where the spheres are. Troposphere, stratosphere, ionosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, all that. That's the first heaven. This is the domain we live in, the atmosphere. Second heaven is in outer space. And then there's a third heaven. So the third heaven is going to come down, okay, and replace second heaven and
Right.
third heaven. Okay. There's a new heaven and new earth. New order. Oh. All right, so it's going to be new heaven. Number 2 going to be what? New earth. Okay?
Yeah.
And we know it's going to be a new earth because there's some things that are here on earth now that's not going to be
Yeah.
when the new heaven comes down. We'll get to that in a few minutes. All right? So it's going to be a new heaven, new earth. Verse 2 going to be a new Jerusalem. Very good. And we're going to talk a lot about the new Jerusalem today. And the new Jerusalem also symbolizes the church, which is the bride.
31, New Jerusalem.
And also called the holy city.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The oldest city?
The
Holy
holy,
city.
Holy city.
the holy city. So we get a new heaven, new earth, new Jerusalem. What do we have in verse 5? It's going to be a new what?
Before. Oh, verse 5.
Verse 5.
All things
All
new.
things are new.
All
Uh-huh.
things are
So it's going to be a new world order. All things are going to be new. A whole new world order. Things not going to operate the way it's operating now. The sun, rise and set, rotate. No. It's going to be a whole new world order of things. Okay? Very good. New world order. All right, 5. You got to go all the way to verse 20. We haven't gotten to 22 yet, but let's go there and read that and see what that new thing that will be in heaven. It's a new
temple.
temple. All right, new temple. Also be in our eternal state. We're going to discuss that when we get to 22. All right, let's go to 23. We're going to have a new
City. No. The glory of God.
glory. You're getting
The
there.
Lamb is the light.
Light, all right, all right. Have a new light, all right, which is going to be what? The Lamb, Jesus himself, is the light. So we want him, that's a new order because this earth has sun. We're not going to have that.
Right.
Jesus is going to be the light, all right? New light, all right. Y'all are doing excellent. And 20 through 1 through 5. All right, I'm going to tell you that one. It's a whole new paradise. Okay, a new paradise. And we discussed that when we get in chapter 22. Okay, that's way in front of us. All right, I want to just put those down, okay, that we talked about last week. All right, any comments that we want to make from last week we're talking about? I think we got as far as verse. Okay, let's go to the last verse because we did talk about that in verse 6. And I wrote on the bottom, I wrote that down when Mike asked the question. Look at 21:6. And he said unto me, it is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of a fountain of the water of life freely. So what does the Alpha and Omega finalize? His
Beginning
promise.
and end.
How? Okay. Knowing that he was what? The beginning
And
and the end. Okay? And those are the letters of the Greek alphabet. Alpha is the first letter of the Greek alphabet. Omega is the last letter of the Greek alphabet. So he's beginning and the end. Okay. He started and he ended. All right. Good. All right. So we did 7. All right, and we did 8. All right. We discussed what will be in the New Jerusalem. That was also back in verses 1 and 2. So I just go ahead and tell you those. You probably know a lot. What will be in the New Jerusalem? Okay. Number 1, in the New Jerusalem, God will dwell with us. So in New Jerusalem, the presence of God will always be with us. Okay. Remember, in the Old Testament, the presence of God was in the holies of holies, okay, in the temple. But now, the temple is going to be new. The glory of God will be that he will be there. So we will always be in the glory of God because he will always be present with us. Okay? 2, we shall be his people. Okay? We shall be his people. And it talks about that in the Omega in verse 6 too. And in verse 7, he that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. So therefore we shall be his people, and he will always dwell with us. 3, he will be our God. He will be our God. He'll be with us. We shall be his people. He will be our God. And in verse, what did we talk about? I want you to read it. In verse 4. What will be in New Jerusalem? All right?
No more tears.
No more tears. All right, God gonna wipe away all our tears. There'll be no more tears. Okay. There will be
No more death.
no more death
Follow.
in the New Jerusalem. There will be no more. What I heard, young lady. Sherman said, what did you say, Sherman?
I said, death, sorrow.
Sorrow. There'll be no more sorrow. One more. There will be no
Cry.
Pain.
pain.
No pain.
All right. So there we go. There'll be no more tears. God's gonna wipe away all our tears. That we see in verse 4. There'll be no more death. There'll be no more sorrow. There'll be no more pain. Whew. What a day.
What a day.
Jonathan.
Like a creator.
Hey.
Whew.
It doesn't say it here, but it be no more sin.
Right.
Right, no more sin.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Okay. All right. All right. Now let's go to what will not be in the New Jerusalem.
Sin.
He got that in there. There be no sin. There be no more. We read it in the very first verse. When I say the new heaven coming down, the new world order, because in new heaven there will be no what in verse 1?
See?
Sea, ocean, water, right? There will be no sea. There will be no sea.
No sin.
There will be no water. We talked about that last week. Because we better ask the question about the 4 rivers
Right.
Yeah,
that came out. We're going to be, right. Mm-hmm. When we got the word sea, and we're going to talk about, but you said the rivers
Right.
that came out of whatever the Garden of Eden
Came out of the
before.
city.
Yeah. So no more sea.
It should have said no more ocean.
I don't know what the ocean is sea, but it does talk about the river. So the stipulation, the distinction between river and sea. We got definitely a lot more
It's
steps.
about seven his chance.
Mm-hmm.
About 7 oceans there. About 7 oceans.
4.
4.
7 continents. 4 oceans. Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, Arctic. All right. All right. Number 2, there will what? The sea.
All water. That was number 2 on it.
Number 1 was sea. I mean, 'cause number 1 we said what? Sin.
One was sin,
Then he said
2 is
no more
water,
sea.
sea.
Okay. 3 in verse 4. Kind of go with
There will be no death,
death, right?
no sorrow, no
Mourning, right? Crying. The Marisa mentioned crying.
and no pain.
Right, right. Okay. And one more, I'm missing one.
Sorrow.
In 21:25.
21, 25.
There be no more.
No night.
Night. There'll be no night.
Like,
There'll be no night in heaven. Because Jesus will be there. He'll be with us. And he is the light. So there'll be no night.
You said death, crying, what was the other
It's
Pain.
sin,
one?
or mourning, or pain, mourning, death.
Not a good
A lot
night.
of, huh?
Not a good night. A good day.
Well, we know about that last week.
Was it 7? Oh, we got 6.
I got 6.
Read them to me. What you got?
Tears, no tears.
Sin,
Crying.
sea, death, the morning, crying, pain, night.
Tears. No more
That's
crying.
crying.
It's crying.
No sorrow.
You got C?
Yeah.
That's seeing
Yeah.
more.
C?
sorrow?
You got sin? C?
She
Death?
didn't have sorrow.
Did she say?
Yes, she has. Mhm.
Or mourning, either.
Mourning
or
or
sorrows.
That's death, right? Okay. Is sorrow mourning?
Yes.
Yes.
You say mourning
Okay.
or
Then
sorrow.
I'm still missing one.
You get crying
Crying.
and pain
Yes.
and night.
Yes.
Are your numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? You get sin.
Sin, sea,
C?
death,
Death,
crying,
crying,
pain,
pain.
night.
You don't have mourning.
You don't have mourning or
I thought
sorrow.
you said death was mourning and sorrow. Was the same?
No,
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 no, no, no.
Okay.
No, no, no.
Mourning and sorrow, we
Are the
say.
same.
Yes,
Okay.
not death. That's
All right,
different.
thank you.
Okay. Okay. Whew. Okay. All right, now let's go into verse 9. We talk about now the New Jerusalem, which is the description of the eternal abode of the bride. The New Jerusalem is the eternal abode. So that's where the bride will live, in the New Jerusalem. So she is that is the holy city, the bride. Okay. Right, verse 9. And there came unto me one of the 7 angels, which have the 7 vials full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come thither, I will show thee the bride. And I like this because it changed the bride to what?
White.
Oh. So now we've been the bride, so now the bride is what? The wife. So the marriage supper has taken place. And now it's the bride's wife. I thought, woo. Awesome. That is the bride's wife. Okay. So all the way through verse 9 to 21, it gives a description of the city. And this we discussed last night, the psychological or the spiritual aspect of the city. Question? And notice this, right, that this is the church. And he, verse 10, and he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God. The holy city comes down out of heaven. So she comes down out of heaven into earth. The other 2 heavens. Now how far the city descends, it's a matter of speculation. I don't know. When it comes down out of heaven. Okay, how? When it come down. Okay. Verse 11. Having the glory of God, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. Now it's a jasper stone. Someone look at it. It's a jasper stone. I always thought jasper stone had color. Do you have anyone have the phone look up jasper? But this one reads as being clear. So I'm looking at it being clear. I'm thinking probably would be a diamond. You know,
Clear.
that stone, because it's going to all the details, all these stones that make up that city.
So it's Crystal clear.
Yeah, but as it reads here, it's clear as crystal. So that puts me in the mind that jasper being what? A diamond.
Like ice.
Clear as crystal. So it does this jasper have, is it clear?
Not this one. It says it's opaque,
Yeah.
usually red, yellow.
Yeah, I thought like jasper has a multicolor. But again, you get to look at the translations. Maybe that's the only way they could think of jasper. But in our language, jasper is a multicolor. But then when it reads it here, it says it is clear. Yeah. So I would think that would be like a diamond. But just use the word jasper, I think in the translation.
Interesting.
And that New Jerusalem will be in the center of all things. God headquarters. Because we would see that God being with us, man's sin caused God to remove his glory. The glory left, I think, it was around the time building temple or the Ark of the Covenant. And the glory of God left, and the glory of God was gone for about 400 years.
Yeah, 'cause they didn't have no contact.
They had no power, no communication, no nothing. So I'm trying to think what happened when God's glory left. Oh, the temple, I know it's in the Ark of the Covenant. Something happened and God's glory left for 400 years. That's why it was so imperative when the shepherds were in the field and the glory came back. When the angels came, there's a glory to God in the high. It was so, the glory came back. And
Dropped
the
the Ark of
shepherds.
the Covenant or something.
something happened when the glory left. And it was like 400 years. So that's why when you hear Christmas, glory to God in the highest, because the glory came back.
Hallelujah.
Okay? The glory of God came back. Okay? So therefore, number one, the most dominant characteristic of the holy city in the presence of the glory of God. So we see that the holy city, number one, is jasper. And jasper, what is the, we're going to say crystal clear because that's what it reads in Scripture. Even though our text reads as a multicolor gem. But when you look at these stones, because crystal clear, it has to be transparent. And our definition of jasper she read was opaque, and opaque does not let light go through it. Okay? So think of that jasper as a diamond because it's crystal clear and light has to pass through it. Okay? So I think it's more like a diamond.
Here's the definition of lead. Go away from.
Okay?
This is the lead.
No glory.
So we can see that, you know, that new city, we think of it as like the wedding ring, you know, of that new city, New Jerusalem. It symbolizes the wedding of the church in Christ. All right.
Maybe that it could be a color about the presence of God. I just think it could symbol of like being is crystal clear.
And it's going to give us some other stones too. It's like it's a whole lot of stones. We're going to go through. It's just explain all these stones, right? But that's the first one, right? Once you look at the city, it's crystal clear like a diamond surrounded by gold.
And I did say that jasper means strength, confidence, and stuff. And so diamond is like one of the hardest
Gems to yeah. Yeah. Now like in verse 12 and 13. 12 says, and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates, what? 12 angels, and names written thereon. which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. So number 2, you're going to write a wall. And when we get to right beside that wall, write 72 yards. We're going to pick it up in verse 17. You get the cubits, right? 144 cubits, which is going to be about 216 feet.
I have amplified, this is a massive and a high wall.
Yeah, it's
It's a wall great and high.
right, great and high. Someone look up the circumference of the earth, see if it gives it to you. Because if we look at the earth, and the earth is round circumference, but we got this New Jerusalem coming down, and we're going to look at the definition, and it's in a cube shape. It's going to tell us the length, the width, the depth.
Now, in my Bible, it says the 12 gates each made of a massive single pearl.
Say it again.
It says the 12 gates each made of a massive single pearl. In parentheses, what it says, in the great water of Jerusalem.
Okay.
have written on.
So it's one pearl that make up the gate.
Oh, right.
Okay. Because the gate made out of pearl.
Right,
A huge pearl.
right.
Not a pearl.
24,901
What is it?
miles.
What is it?
24,901 miles.
The circumference?
24,000.
Earth's circumference.
I'm writing it down. What is it? 20?
24,901 miles. I can't even measure that.
They give you diameter?
Circumference formula. No,
It doesn't
this
give
guy,
diameter.
this formula is good stuff.
I think we can figure it out if you,
Okay, well, how do you find the diameter? Oh, that's it, the circle.
the circumference is
Not
the diameter divided by pi. 3.14 divided by.
Okay,
All you math
diameter.
people, because I'm trying to figure out the round that earth, the city physically, that is set in from
Yeah.
radius to radius, from within that circle. I would just seeing how wide that circumference is. There's something I can study on later. Okay. But that, yeah, they're gonna give us the measurements, I think, of the diameters. When we get to it, so I wonder what the circumference was and the diameter of Earth as it is now. All right. Give me the diameter of the moon. You get a chance. All right. All right, let's go back to verse 12. On the east, 3 gates. On the north, 3 gates. On the south, 3 gates. And on the west, 3 gates. Okay. Now what? There are 12 gates. So therefore we have what? 3 gates on each side. Can anyone make a text-to-text connection? Where else you have seen that? The 3 gates. Where else have you seen that written in Scripture?
We talked about it.
The Old Testament.
In the Old Testament, of course, what's happening in the Old
We
Testament?
got the temple Solomon built.
The temple, right.
The
Right, the temple. They had
Solomon
3
built.
gates. Even when they went to war,
Yeah.
they would north, south, east, right.
Okay.
Even when they went to war, there was the tribes within 3, right, coming to 4 corners.
Yeah.
There were always those 3. Okay, and on each gate is the name of what? One of the tribes,
The
one of the
12
12 tribes
tribes.
of Israel. On each gate.
Now, you still want the diameter of the moon?
Uh-huh.
3,471.94 kilometers.
How wide is that?
That's how wide it is.
What is it, 3,000?
471.94 kilometers.
Can you translate that to miles?
No, I'm English teacher.
Okay, all right. A kilometer is about it's about half of a mile.
Oh, wait a minute,
Take
he
2
wants how many
kilometers to make a
miles
mile.
across. Here we go.
Okay.
1,000 and, oh, that's the radius for that. Diameter, 2,159.
Oh.
So, and then, okay, so it's 2,159.2 miles.
Okay, good, okay. I'm gonna tell you why I'm doing that in a minute. Okay, all right. So 3 gates on each side, okay? 12 gates to the city, all right.
So number 3 is the 12 gates.
Number 3 is the gates, okay?
What, just gates?
Uh-huh. And those were the giant pearls, okay? And the name of the 12 tribes was on each gate, on each pearl, maybe being on the pearl, wouldn't that be beautiful? Okay, being on the pearl, okay?
Where'd you get the picture?
Bride make up and only one that lives in the New Jerusalem. The all saved others come to and fro to the temple. No one lives in that temple but the bride, the holy city. So when worship, they come to the New Jerusalem, come to the bride. We're the only one that live there. All other saved people worship and come. Because I was wondering, they have to move back and forth because we make up the bride. I'm the one that lives in that holy city. We make up the holy city. We don't live there.
So who gonna be coming?
All other tribulation saints.
Oh, the ones that got saved in the tribulation.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
okay.
Even the
Yeah.
Old Testament saints. Only the bride
Right,
of
because
Christ.
they
only
didn't have
the church.
salvation.
So we're gonna be the bride of Christ who are raptured,
Yes,
the church.
yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
And the other, the tribulation saints, the Old
Old
Testament
saints.
saints, right, although they're saved, that's not the bride,
Okay.
will come to worship in the New Jerusalem, just like in the Old Testament when they came to.
The temple,
The temple.
to
Mhm.
worship.
Because we don't want to live there. And look how wonderful that is, how it's so important the church is to Christ. That's his wife,
Mhm.
We are married. And then the other saints come. We live there. We are in his presence all the time.
24/7.
Yes. The light.
Eternity.
Yes. Okay. All right. We on verse. Go to Psalm 8:5. Get that scripture. I'm seeing that.
Go to where?
Song of Solomon.
I was looking in the, when you was asking when did God's glory leave?
Uh-huh.
It was during Solomon's temple.
I thought, yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Okay,
I
yeah,
found
okay,
it
good.
in Ezekiel.
Awesome. Something was happening.
It says, God's glory later came to dwell in the temple built by Solomon
Okay.
after his frequent and humble prayer. 2 Chronicles 6 and 7. God chose to allow the presence again evident through the radiance and splendor of his glory to remain in the temple for centuries. Yet, after the Jews had proven their determination to continue in false adultery worship, the presence of God did eventually leave the Jerusalem temple prior to its looting and destruction by the Babylonians. Even when the second temple was rebuilt in its place after the return from Jewish exile, God's glory did not occupy it. Moreover, there is no record of the shimmering, luxurious glory ever again occupying earthly temples.
Right. It left in drag.
And then it go on to say that, however, centuries later, the shepherds saw the glory appear in the sky as angels announced the birth of the Savior.
Right.
Luke 2:9. Indeed, the coming of Christ
The
is
glory,
the flesh, fresh in the flesh, was in essence God's coming to dwell with the human beings.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So then we the temple.
Yes. Came to that, right. That's why it was just a glory to God, and I go, oh, the glory. After all these years, centuries, they returned.
What a privilege.
So it actually left because they were determined not to serve Him.
They rejected, right.
Yeah, they were
Went to
the
captivity and
Jewish
all that.
people.
There was no power, no right, right. Yeah.
So what happened during that 400 years that he had left?
They ain't here for God.
They didn't hear from God. They were just wondering.
It's like, who is this that cometh up from the wilderness, leaning up on her beloved? So basically, we're talking about the bride of Christ, the church. I raised thee up under the apple tree. There thy mother brought thee forth. There she brought thee forth that bare thee. Okay. So that's a symbol of the bride. I gave that cross reference. And that be the bride that would dwell in the temple. She's the bride to come up from the wilderness, which is this present world. All right, it's the rapture. All right. Where are we? 14. All right, 14 gets into, do we do
Many good answers for
4? We want to get to 16. It's in 16. That's when we get to those measurements we're looking for. The foundations, we're going to probably stop at 16. Okay? And the wall of the city had 12 foundations. And in them, the names of what? The 12 apostles. Okay? Because the church is really built upon the foundation which the apostles laid. So there's where those 12 fountains represent the apostles. Upon the apostle and prophet. And Jesus Christ himself is of what? The chief cornerstone. He is the chief cornerstone. All right, I don't think I have a question for that one. All right, now let's get into the size and shape of the city. So 14 was the foundation of the city, on the apostles. And 15 and 16 deal with the size and shape of the city. Now, and he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city, and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof. All right. Now this, and the city lieth 4 square. It's a square. The city lies 4 square. So it has to be within the circumference of the world, that city. And the length is as large as the breadth. So that deals with the depth and length. And the measure of the city with the reed is 12,000 furlongs. So the length and the breadth and the height of it all equal.
Right.
So we see the shape of the city, really difficult to describe. Well, let's look at it. It is what? 12,000 furlongs is given the measurement of each side and the height of it. So it said 12,000 furlongs is equal to,
In my Bible, it says
15.
1,400, but you did 15.
right, yeah. It said that would equal to 1,500 miles. Miles. 12,000 furlongs is equivalent to,
We're going to-
12, it is 12,000, which means about 1,500 miles per side, per height. Or you got cube, so they all the same.
Same as.
Right, so you're looking at 15.
So they be guessing.
Yeah, they guess, I mean, it's different because mine says 1,350 miles.
Mhm.
Jackie says something, else.
1,400.
Jackie says 14.
And mine says about 15.
So it's all.
Yeah,
around.
somewhere in,
Around somewhere at the
right,
center.
yeah. Because you really can't, I mean, read
Yeah.
the different, right.
We'll
So you
get there.
like, so yours was 13 what? It's 13?
1350.
13, 50, we're going around to 1,400.
Mhm.
Yours is what?
1,400.
14 even, okay? And mine read 15. So,
Because the thing is,
14,
those
15.
measurements were ancient, and so they trying to
Right.
update the measurements so we understand because we just.
Hey, right.
All right, so we're looking at the height,
We
the
know
width.
that.
So you're looking at a cube.
Yeah.
Now they say it's a cube and this, mine says, in the Old Testament, the Holy of Holies, where God met his people, was a perfect cube.
Wow, in the holies of holies.
In the Holies
What a
of Holies.
connection.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the presence of God was in the holies of holies. It was
Mhm.
cube.
It was
So
a
this
cube.
was the presence of God.
Mhm.
Good. And now this is a cube. So I was wondering how big that cube would be.
Uh-huh.
Because you said the circumference of the earth was 24,000.
Mhm.
That's humongous.
Yeah.
That's why I brought that to the moon. And the moon was what? 2,159.
Mhm.
So therefore, this temple has to be a little larger than the moon
Mhm.
that comes down from heaven, the celestial. So it's kind of like a planet, you know,
Mhm.
that comes down suspended, I'm thinking, just like Earth is suspended in air. So we have this new Jerusalem, the holy city, the bride of Christ, comes down, it's a little larger than the moon. 'Cause the moon
So by
is-
saying it's a cube, are they saying like, you know, it's the measurements are square, but it's all covered, it's all enclosed, that's what they're saying?
Right,
Ah.
enclosed in the,
Inside the cube, yes,
Right.
okay.
right.
And it says the entire city will be filled with God's glory and holiness.
Because we said in 1 hour, what would be in the New Jerusalem? God's glory.
God's
His,
glory.
he would be with us. His glory will always be with us.
And is this gonna be like, when it comes down, like it's suspended? Like,
Yes.
just,
Just suspended.
just nothing, no ground, no, just,
Suspended.
it's there.
Right. It's there. It's suspended.
Because like you were saying, whether.
And because we lose my thought. It's suspended. But we would be inside.
Of the cube.
So right now, we on the outside
Right.
of Earth.
Look at you.
And what's holding us on the outside is what? Gravity.
Gravity.
That holds us to Earth. Well, we are on the outside of Earth. But in the holy city, we are on the inside. Because there'll be no more gravity. But it's going to be, suspended, but we are in the inside. Yeah.
But like you were
Mhm.
saying, when you said it corresponded with the holies of holies. You remember we was talking about it last week and we was talking about the third heaven. Is kind of like entering to that court. The
Mhm.
way it is in the New Testament when Jesus came. There was sections that you had to go through to get to the holies of holies.
Right.
And that's what's gonna happen when he comes back. The third heaven
Mhm.
is the one that's gonna come down to
Mhm.
earth, and we're gonna be in that third heaven.
Mhm.
Because we will, when he rapture us, we're going to the holies of holies,
Go to,
like where he is. So that's
Right.
when you worshiping and we go into where the temple where it was rent. We don't have to do that. We could just worship our way through the places to get to the holies of holies. So that it does, the old coming in with
Right.
this, with the new.
The new.
Yeah.
Good.
My Bible says the city is 1,400 miles square with walls over 200 feet thick.
200 feet
So
thick.
thick, yeah, yeah. So I'm like, we're on the inside, but look how 200 feet big. You gonna
That-
make sure
that's
there's no
okay, nobody
connection.
get in.
That's it.
If you
That
didn't
is
get in
thick.
through the rapture,
Mhm.
You
yeah,
ain't
sure,
getting in,
you ain't
right.
getting in.
But this is just a, supposition, but I'm thankful thinking that it's 200 feet thick, because otherwise we could hear wailing of people in hell. We want to enjoy heaven. We ain't gonna hear 'em. So, you know what I mean? So we can enjoy.
Right?
Right, it'll kind of be like when Noah built the ark,
Mhm.
and God shut that door. They couldn't hear anything.
Right.
It was a wrap, so it really, when you
That's
study
awesome.
both, it's just coming,
Awesome.
that's why I'm excited about when we start the New Testament study. I mean, Old Testament study, because it's just,
Right,
it's just
right.
prophecy
Mhm.
being fulfilled in the New Testament.
Awesome.
New Testament,
awesome.
Old Testament revealed.
Yeah.
But Old Testament is New Testament concealed.
Because when he shut that ark, nobody could get in it. So when we get into that holy, in that cubic, nobody can get
You're
in.
in safety.
You're in the safety, yeah, in the safety of God's arms. That's
And
awesome.
that's amazing to me because the human nature wants to feel safe, wants to be safe. So how can you not want a relationship with God if that's your safety?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't, I'm not connected.
Because Satan have come and blind them just like they did in the garden. So many people now don't believe God. They think they are the ones that wake up on their own and do, but then like I say, it goes right back and keep going back to what Pastor said 3 weeks ago in that service. I don't care who you are, you know somewhere inside of you that there is a God. But you want to be like Satan, greater than God, and think, I wake myself up in the morning. The devil is a lie. So that's why that separation comes, because we in the flesh don't want to so totally submit that we are nothing without God.
Right.
Nothing. But that's our flesh
That's
still
the
makes
devil.
us think we got some
Have you
The
control.
only
heard
time
of-
they would want God is when something bad is going on.
Okay, all right.
Oh, we got a square?
Put 4 on the square. Put 4 on the measurement.
Mhm.
Because this we just finished doing 16.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, so we
3 would be
got
the
one,
gates,
four.
right?
Right.
And 4 would be the measurement of
You
the
just say square and then measurements.
Yeah.
Measurements.
Or cube.
I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah. Cube. Cube. Put measurement.
Yes.
You put 1,500 miles, 1,400 miles, cube. Right. Miles
Oh my
cube.
gosh.
Right.
So exciting.
So, next week we'll start on verse 17.
We'll be on fire.
And we're going to deal with the wall.
That's awesome.
Jackie, you
All right.
ready to come back next?
So you did the wall today, didn't you?
Be stuck in South Carolina.